What's up, everybody? Kevin Allen here, and I want to just really quick break down a lot of stuff we have going on for March Madness this year, including our incredible proprietary bracket creation assistance tool, which literally crushed last year. It was ridiculous. And what that does is it uses our handicapping beat the bookie models alongside some other factors for different let's say, items that go into upsets, and I'll get into that in a second, but we have an awesome tool for helping you create your bracket that is sort of based on our beat the bookie handicapping college basketball models. The college basketball betting has been unreal this year. If you sports bet at all, you should absolutely be checking this out, and I will show a little bit of an example of how that works in this video as well. But initially what I wanted to point to was we are running a contest. Bracket challenge. It's totally vig free, so this is just for the enjoyment of the members here. And the way it works is it's a $10 buy-in. The payout structure is going to depend on how many people, so we're not throwing that out there, but 100% of the funds will be paid out to the winners. We're not sure exactly how top heavy that's going to be, but it's going to be awesome. Hopefully we'll get lots and lots of people in there so we can have a really big prize and pay out a lot of people. There's going to be some DFS Army swag bag prizes for the top finishers, which is going to be great, and it's a pretty reasonable way to win one. Swag bag is worth about $50, and you get a DFS Army hat, you get a t-shirt, you get a bottle opener. There's a lot of cool things we put in those swag bags, all DFS Army swag. And we have a special edition that everybody who can beat the primary beat the bookie bracket, which did really well last year, and we expect to do really well again this year. Anybody who can beat it will get a free month of our DFS Army Beat the Bookie service. I'll talk more about that. What's Beat the Bookie? It's a handicapping model, how it works. We'll cover all of that. But more importantly, let's talk about our tool to help you create your bracket, because that's what everybody cares about this time of year. And let me just say, with March Madness, I'm gonna break it down for you. I don't watch college football, basketball games all year. I don't. It doesn't interest me. Right? I'm not someone who's playing them all year round, but I love March Madness. Super fun to watch. It's every weekend. All your friends are in it. It makes it exciting, heart-pounding action. I love making a sheet. It's cheap. You pay $10. I don't suggest doing one sheet. I suggest doing 3, 4, 5 sheets with some different approaches. But nonetheless, you pay a couple $10 and you can have joy for it's like the golf sweat. It's like a 3-4 week sweat. It's really something special, and I highly recommend anybody who hasn't been involved with March Madness to get involved. This year we make it really easy with our tools. So here's the contest. In order to enter it, you have to DM FightOn2016 at FightOn2016 TTM in our Slack group. Let him know that you want in on the contest. He will give you all of the details from there. You got to send your email address, and we create a big ESPN challenge thing. It's going to be fully online, so you can follow along with the action. All right, so we've gotten that out of the way. Now let's talk about the betting models. Now first this is our beat the bookie model, but let's start with the March Madness bracket assistance tool. Okay, so DFS Army website, under college basketball, you'll see a tab that says March Madness. Click there. And we have an article here describing how to use this as well, which you can check out. Actually, I'm going to click over to that first. So if you just click on college basketball, you will get the March Madness betting strategies article, and there's a little bit here on the tool itself, how to use it, the models he's created, upset model. All right, so I'll read through it since you're here with me on a video. Upset model looks back the last 15 years to determine what a successful upset team looks like in the first round. There's a certain breed of top seed teams that get upset, and a certain breed of low-ranked teams that get the job done. Our upset model predicted the Buffalo upset last year. I totally had Buffalo in that game. It was fully predicting it. I remember this from last year. It was awesome. Along with Loyola, Chicago, all of these, Syracuse. I shit you not, he was all over that. The model predicted it, and when I show you the model, you're going to see a lot of very strong predictions. I'm going to give you an idea of how to use it. Then you have a secondary overall win model, which team should win. It's got its own set of parameters, and it's much more similar to what we're using generally for handicapping your everyday college basketball games. Articles, Beat the Bookie members. They're actually for Beat the Bookie members. If you're in there already and you're a member of Beat the Bookie, the model takes it a step further and gives you total points, projected scores for each game. So if you like the sports bet, the over-unders, things like that, that's a big part of what our handicapping models are looking for. Anywhere, handicapping is very similar to DFS in the sense that in DFS we're trying to figure out where the salary algorithm is incorrect in terms of what it should have estimated that player's score to be compared to what it ends up being. And handicapping, we're looking at Vegas models, Vegas totals, over-unders, spreads, things like that, and trying to figure out where they're wrong, where we can beat them, where we can get a slight edge. So, there's awesome tools in this article. I highly recommend you reading this. Here's some info on betting against the spread and which seeds are the best to bet on against the spread and all of that. You can check that out on your own. I'm not going to get too deep into that. But how do I get to the March Madness model? Well, CBB March Madness. All right, this is it. Here we go. So here is your March Madness model in a nutshell, and I'm going to explain it, but the first moves you have to do, because this really won't work online, is open it in Google Sheets, and then we're going to take a second step and make a copy. And the reason we want to make a copy, so there are some things we're going to customize here in the later rounds. The first round, you don't really need this, but when you do the copy, you can actually, I'll show you what it allows you to do and compare and contrast. But let's just get started with round one, and I'm going to pop back and forth to my bracket. Now, you'll notice that right now Duke isn't showing against a team they're playing against because that hasn't quite been determined as of yet. But Duke being the #1 seed in the entire tournament, I don't think it's going to be too much of a mystery. So here is my bracket. First team I chose is Duke. We're going to go back to this here. All right, now, each bracket, what are we looking at? Here's a great one. I love this first example. VCU, the 8 seed. UCF, the 9 seed, underdog. But our win model has UCF with an 84% chance to win this game. And our upset model agrees with a 62.5% chance of an upset here. In other words, UCF winning. Now, these two things aren't tied together, but when they match, oh my goodness, right? So, easy underdog play. Where's my bracket? We're going to go UCF to beat VCU. Okay, now we continue. That's it, one at a time. Now we've got Mississippi State taking on Liberty. The win model really likes Mississippi State. The upset model, 40% upset, so not a huge chance of an upset. Not good enough for me. I'm going Mississippi State. And on to the next. And this is how we build our bracket, guys. Back and forth. Now, I'm going to go through a bunch of these because I want to show some close calls and how you deal. This is not an exact science. There's a little bit of guessing, a little bit of luck. Now, here's one that's interesting. Virginia Tech and St. Louis, while Virginia Tech still has a 99% chance to win, in other words, we fully expect them to win the game, there is a reasonable upset model difference here of over 50%. I really want to see these numbers a little bit closer together on both sides of it, so I'm going to stick with Virginia Tech here in this particular bracket. All right, now let's move on because we've got another one that actually looks a little closer, and this one I'm more excited about. So let's see, Virginia Tech, and yeah, there we go. This game hasn't quite been determined who number 11 is yet, so we don't know. We've got another LSU heavy favorite, 27% chance for an update. Don't like that. We stick with LSU. Yeah, the reason that other one's not there, we're not sure who's going to play yet. That will be cleaned up or fixed whenever those final games are determined. For now, I'm just going to call it Maryland. And here's one, Louisville, Minnesota. Okay, this is interesting. Very close win odds, right? 7-10 game with a 60% upset possibility. So we take the dog in this one. We're going to take Minnesota here, right? Boom. Minnesota. Finally, Michigan State, Bradley. I'm sure we're taking Michigan State here. Let's keep going. All right, where's my tool? Oh yeah, okay. Let's look for some more upset possibilities. This one's interesting. 80-20. Don't like any of these for upsets. Here's one. Okay, we've got another one. The next upset I see is like maybe Florida, Nevada State. Let's see if there are any like really close ones. Yeah, these close ones, 8-9. 62, 63%. These are the levels of the upset model. Let's go through the whole thing. Yeah, 60s. Anytime I'm going to see maybe in the 60s, that is interesting for me, especially when it coincides with a reasonable number over here. So you can pretty much go through this on your own. I don't want to build a full bracket here on this video or have people kind of copy it, but I do want to show the second part of the model and how it works. So again, for the first round, we want to look through these and kind of look for upset model chances above 50% and ideally above 60%, where it also coincides with a reasonable chance of that team winning the game. And like right here, easy choice. We're going to take Florida. If we ever find an underdog that's actually favored, even better. But you've got here Oklahoma, Oregon, playable. This one's very interesting. St. Mary's and Villanova, right? 60% chance of St. Mary's winning this game. That's huge. Gotta go with the when the 11 seed is favored. All in. Right? Here's another one. Iowa, Cincinnati. Iowa actually favored by our model to win this game, so that's a really good spot. This is really important information, so I hope everybody is excited to use it. Now, what do we do for round 2? And this is where it gets a little bit more exciting, or interesting anyway, right? So this is a really cool factor. Now, according to our models, that upset factor is much more relevant in round 1 than any other round. And then it goes back to pretty standard handicapping models of 2 teams against another. Now, we use an 8-factor proprietary system to come up with certain possibilities. So I'm just going to do one of these to point out how exactly this works. So let's go to our bracket, and we've got Mississippi State versus Virginia Tech in this bracket right here. So let's see what the model says. Mississippi State going up against Va-Tech, right? So Virginia Tech, here we go. Let's see what it says. All right, now there you go. The model gives Virginia Tech a 77% chance of winning this game. Okay, so let's go back to our bracket, and we're going to choose Virginia Tech. Okay, how about Duke UCF? Let's check that out. All right, it's hard to make, I'm sure Duke is going to be favored because it's fucking Duke, but here we go. 92% chance for Duke to win. These numbers are awesome. Like, this really now it's not super helpful when it's Duke, right? But let's look at a closer one. Okay, how about Maryland LSU? We're building a bracket, guys, without having to do a whole lot of anything. Maryland. Here we go. LSU. There we go. Maryland, LSU. Oh, close. So here's where you make choices. Maryland slightly wins, and it lets you know, but man, that's close. You can go either way here. Now, when it's that close, I usually look back and say, who's ranked higher? Well, LSU's a little higher, but Maryland almost just as good. I might go with the underdog here, just because if it's 50-50, I kind of want to be like a little more contrarian with that pick, so I might go there. Michigan State versus Minnesota. Michigan State, Minnesota. Let's see what the model says. Ooh, we like Michigan State quite a bit. So this is how your bracket builds its way out. When they're close, you're making your decisions. Now Michigan State, Maryland. Let's jump back over there. close. All right. Now here's where you start to think, yes, Michigan State is favored, but man, if you can get that bonus by a 5 seed that nobody's on, making it past this round, that gives you an advantage. So those are the decisions you make. This video wasn't really supposed to be about the strategy of creating a bracket. It's about how to use this tool to help you create your bracket. But you still have to bring your own game theory concepts to this. Understanding that, especially let's say you're choosing Duke, the penultimate favorite to win the whole thing, as your winner. You need to be really accurate with the rest of your sheet in order to have a shot at winning. And part of that means you're going to have to do some things a little bit different. Because if you just roll out Duke like 35–40% of every bracket in every contest, then you're going to have to do a damn good job of picking your sheet. Now, if you take a shot and go with a secondary underdog, number 2, number 3, number 4 seed total in the contest, then and they win, you'll probably only be going up against 5–10% of the other brackets. But if you're choosing the favorite, the ultimate favorite, when Duke is a massive favorite to win the whole thing, you're probably still, if they win, you're still kind of there with the other 40% of brackets. So your bracket itself needs to be really, really good. And that's what these models are all about. This is an advantage. No one has this type of a tool. Okay. A couple other matters of business. The sports betting college basketball model is really our strongest model overall. It's a sport where there's so many games, so many teams. It's hard to really, even Vegas isn't spot on with a lot of the spreads and projections. So I want to jump over to that and show you how that works real quick in case you want to check out the Beat the Bookie service. So on the main DFS Army site, you just click on Beat the Bookie. And if you're not a member already, you just kind of click on one of these things and get signed up. DFS Army members get a massive discount for the Beat the Bookie handicapping service. You get $20 off, so it's $29.99 a month. That's basically nothing if you like to sports gamble, to have a model like this. Now I'm going to show you what the model looks like for college basketball. The March Madness thing's here too, but obviously if you're not signed up, sign up. Use dfsarmysb.com. We have all kinds of promotions for free months as well. Ask Fight On 2016 in Slack about that. We give out free months of this for almost anything. So ask about it. Now, I'm going to show you a little bit about how our models work if you wanted to be betting on these games. And the main thing that we're looking at is Vegas win percentage versus our win percentage. So in essence, we're using models to try to calculate our own spreads and our own handicap. And when there's a massive difference, that becomes a bettable situation. Here's one. I'll just show you this one. On this Prairie View A&M versus Fairleigh Dickinson game, the Vegas odds show the game is almost a pick'em, whereas our model believes that Fairleigh Dickinson should be somewhat heavily favored. So in this situation, you've got a whole bunch of other models also agreeing with everything, in essence saying that this is a bet against the money line. So that's kind of what that is. We're looking for massive differences between the Vegas odds and what our models say should be, and those become bets. Here's another one, North Dakota State versus North Carolina, something or another here, and it shows that while the Vegas win model is and here's your money line. So this is the key factor. Their money line versus what it should be, right? So our win percentage 94%, meaning a full expectation of a win for North Dakota State. Minus 217 Vegas money line. I mean, our money line is crazy on this one. But in essence, what this is saying is the line is too small here at minus 217. That North Dakota State is a borderline lock to win this game. You can use them as a parlay piece, or you can put heavy bets on them straight up, that kind of thing. You're looking at the difference between this money line and the Vegas line. Here's another one. So back to the Prairie View example, where Vegas has it as just about even odds, our models say that Fairleigh Dickinson should be heavily favored. So in essence, whenever you can get a money line that's lower than, better than, cheaper than what the model says, that starts to become a bettable situation. Let me see if there are any other ones on this model today. And this is every day, you know, these pop up all the time, and these will win. I mean, the win rates have been ridiculous. I don't think it could possibly keep up, but I've seen numbers, you know, on given nights, it's been 11-4, 10-5, 13-3 on occasion. We've had members pulling off crazy parlays, but in general, the goal is about a 60% win rate with these type of models. Okay, one more interesting one. Another very, very big differential is Auburn versus New Mexico State. This is new model. Okay, let's look at the new model here. Numbers, score, spread, total, Vegas, score, spread, total, 145. Not super different. The biggest difference here, Vegas spread, our spread -5. But the win model is massive. So let's see here. -1718 odds of winning versus -275. So this would be a situation where this would make for probably a nice parlay piece, because again, I'm personally rarely going to bet a -275 favorite on anything, but a nice little parlay piece. You parlay a few of these together and get really nice odds on any of the various sports books. DraftKings, FanDuel have sports books in certain states, and if you don't use those, you can certainly use some other ones like MyBookie or Bet Online and a few different ones that we promote. And again, you get free months of Beat the Bookie service and DFS Army whenever you sign up for any of those. DM Fight On 2016 for details. So, in conclusion, grab the tool for March Madness. Make your sheet. If you are interested in it, you can play in our bracket contest. We don't know how many people are going to be in there, but we do know we're going to pay out probably about the top 25%. Going to be awesome. The more people that are in it, the more money you have a chance to make. The one negative is, listen, everybody's using these models. So this is the toughest one. I strongly advise you grabbing the same model and finding a different bracket against your friends at your office pool, whatever, where you can get a much bigger edge than against literally 100 other people using the exact same model. Or if you're doing the DFS Army one, you might want to venture slightly away from what the model is saying for the very reason that your competition is probably using it. But then again, you never know. And everybody can use this differently. Like I said, just because this has certain factors does not mean everybody will have the same upsets. Like, yeah, I mean, 48%, 60% upset model. Yeah, I'm taking Seton Hall. Hell yeah. I'm going straight down this line. But like I said, with the knowledge, yeah, Washington, of course, 61%. These numbers, especially when they get into the 60s, or these are only 50s, but I like the win odds of Iowa and St. Mary's as underdogs, so I'm going to be on that. I certainly like this Oklahoma win odds and all of that good stuff. So a lot of great tools here to use for March Madness. We got you covered in DFS Army. Hit us up with questions. Go out, kick some ass on this tournament, and get signed up for Beat the Bookie service if you want a sports bet. These guys will help you. There's a Slack for it. It has its own Slack. It has its own helpers. Loose Meister, Fight On, Anthony P. Really, really sharp sports betting guys. They're in the Slack helping out, teaching you how to use the tools, read the tools, do the stuff. Other like-minded sports betting degenerates in there too, trying to you know, bet these games and talk back and forth about this or that. So I think it's awesome. Good luck this year. Let's crush these brackets. And like I said, I can't wait to send out some of these swag bag prizes for the top finishers in the March Madness contest. That's it, guys.